Welcome to the Systems Thinker Show, Season 6, Episode 53. Today, we're diving into a really powerful and honestly pretty counterintuitive idea from the 48 Laws of Power. We're going to explore how being aware of these laws can radically improve your team's culture. Specifically, we're going to talk about why trying to be the perfect leader might actually be the very thing holding your team back.
And it all comes down to this. Robert Greene's Law 46, never appear too perfect. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like the exact opposite of everything we're ever taught, right? But stick with me, because it suggests that putting on a flawed front can actually create distance and even resentment instead of the loyalty you're looking for. Before we get into the nuts and bolts, I just have to say a massive thank you. We have listeners in 49 countries now, which is just incredible. And a huge shout out to the many students from China who are tuning in from our case study website. We are so grateful to have you all here. And hey, a quick favor to ask. If you're getting value from this, would you do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe or follow button? Believe it or not, less than 20% of our listeners are actually subscribed. Hitting that button really helps us with the algorithm so we can keep bringing you these best-in-class business and cultural insights. And even better, share this with 10 friends or business associates who you think would dig it. All right, if you're the kind of person who loves big flavor and real craftsmanship, listen up. Today's sponsor is Crunch Time Gourmet Popcorn and Apples in Bridgeport, West Virginia. They're all about made fresh, made fun, made to crunch, with gourmet popcorn and caramel apples produced daily, and their homemade caramel is the centerpiece of everything they create. It's a small batch, one-of-a-kind recipe. And the menu? Oh, it's dangerous, in the best way. Their caramel apples include flavors like Andy's Mint Chocolate. That's a Granny Smith apple dipped in homemade caramel, covered in milk chocolate, then rolled in crushed Andy's Mint candy. Wow. And if you're more of a snack and stream person, their movie theater butter popcorn brings that classic cinema vibe. Fluffy, rich, and buttery. So whether you're sending a gift, stocking the office, planning an event, or running a fundraiser, go to crunchtimevv.com, shop now, and if you need fundraising or a food truck booking, just hit their contact page.
Oh, and I should also mention that this explainer pairs really well with the business playbooks Shift Happens and the newly released Culture by Design, Power by Discipline, Volumes 1 and 2. All three are available online. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with what I call the perfection trap, then we'll flip the script and look at the vulnerability advantage, see it in action with a real-world case study, and then zoom out to see how it all fits together.
All right, first up, the perfection trap. So many leaders think they need to be this flawless, untouchable figure to earn respect. But as Robert Greene brilliantly points out, chasing that ideal of perfection, it almost always backfires.
So let's just ask the question directly. What really happens when a leader seems perfect? On the surface, it looks like the goal, right? It's a sign of total competence and control. But in the real world, under the surface, a leader who appears to be perfect doesn't really inspire people. It kind of intimidates them, and it creates a whole bunch of problems nobody sees coming.
And here's the thing. A leader who seems flawless, even with the best intentions, ends up creating a culture of fear. Think about it. If the boss never ever seems to make a mistake, who on the team is going to feel safe admitting they made one? Nobody. So instead, it breeds envy. It completely shuts down honest feedback, and it forces everyone to engage in what I call performance theater, where everyone pretends things are perfect while the real problems are just festering, waiting to explode.
Okay, so if being perfect is a trap, what's the escape route? Well, the answer is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It's all about strategic imperfection, or, as we'll call it, the vulnerability advantage.
Now, I love this slide because it gets something really important straight. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's not about oversharing or being emotional. It's a set of specific, observable actions. Things like admitting you messed up, asking for help when you need it, or actually being open to tough feedback. These are the behaviors that make a leader human, relatable, and they're what build real, lasting trust.
But, okay, does this touchy-feely stuff actually work in a high-stakes, get-it-done-yesterday kind of environment? Let's break down a case study from a manufacturing company that basically put this whole idea to the ultimate test.
So you've got this company, and on paper, they looked amazing. Their KPIs were through the roof, leadership reviews were glowing, but they had this huge problem bubbling just beneath the surface: sky-high turnover and rock-bottom engagement. Why? Because their leaders were seen as technically perfect, but totally disconnected emotionally. This created a culture where the frontline operators were just too scared to report small safety issues or quality concerns.
The leadership team knew something had to give, so they hit the reset button using Law 46 as their guide. The plant managers actually started their weekly meetings by sharing their own learning moments, times they missed a signal or made the wrong call. They intentionally showed their own imperfection to make it safe for everybody else to just be human at work.
And the impact? Well, it was immediate and it was measurable. Within just 90 days, near-miss safety reporting went up by 38%. Now, I know what you're thinking. More reports. Isn't that bad? No. It was a massive win. It meant people finally felt safe enough to flag potential problems before they turned into actual accidents.
And it didn't stop with safety. The trust scores on their annual engagement surveys, they jumped by 21%. As that feeling of psychological safety went up, people felt more connected, they felt more valued, and they were way more willing to pour their energy into making the company successful.
So the big question is, how does one leader, being a little vulnerable, scale up to change an entire organization? Well, it becomes the foundation. It's the engine that powers a true learning culture.
It all starts with leaders making psychological safety a non-negotiable priority. And that means actively encouraging open conversations, setting really clear rules for how failures are handled, not as something to be punished, but as an opportunity to learn, and just making space for new, sometimes crazy ideas. And once you have that bedrock of safety in place, bam! It unlocks the 4 key pieces of a learning culture. Suddenly, you can attract people who are agile learners. You can encourage the kind of feedback that fuels real growth. And you can make learning a priority for everyone. That individual feeling of safety, it transforms into collective intelligence for the whole organization. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because there are kind of 2 different schools of thought on how to make this happen. You have Robert Greene's approach, which is all about a leader's personal influence, and then you have Lanier Johnson's work, which is about building the infrastructure to guarantee these results. So Greene's view is that power comes from perception. You create an emotional sense of safety through your personal actions. Johnson, on the other hand, argues that you have to build safety and learning right into the company's DNA. Make it structural, embedded in your regular cadences, like in a management operating system. So one is about social influence, the other is about embedded process. Both are really aiming for the same goal, just from different angles. So if you take one thing away from our time together today, let it be this. True power isn't about being perfect. It's about giving permission. It's about giving your team permission to be human, permission to take smart risks, and permission to learn out loud. Because at the end of the day, the teams that learn the fastest are the ones that are going to outperform everyone else. Period. And hey, please support our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Crunch Time Gourmet Popcorn and Apples out of Bridgeport, West Virginia. They make gourmet popcorn and caramel apples with homemade caramel crafted in small batches. It is perfect for game day, movie night, gifts, or even just treating your team. Go shop all the amazing flavors online at crunchtimewv.com. That's crunchtimewv.com. Remember, this explainer also complements the business playbooks Shift Happens, How to Lead with Purpose and Discipline Every Day, and the Culture by Design, Power by Discipline series, Volumes 1 and 2. All 3 are available online. For any additional information, please check us out at our website, www.karaswinnovations.com. And be sure to check out our other podcast, The Continuous Improvement Lab, and our YouTube channel at Karas Innovations Group. And finally, a huge thank you to our executive producer and founder, Lanier Johnson.